This is one of the smartest questions I've ever been asked. I met a woman at a real estate conference, we'll call her Kate, and Kate owned a couple of single-family rentals, and she had a property manager that she was so sick of dealing with. She'd been dealing with vacancy issues, contractor calls, things breaking in the units, and the manager calling her to help deal with it. She was definitely feeling the drag of all these investment decisions of owning a single-family rental. She's like, I thought this is supposed to be passive income. So she came to me and she was considering becoming a passive investor in an apartment deal. And so she asked me, how much money do I need to invest? But she wasn't asking, what's your investment minimum? She was asking, how much liquid capital do I need in order to consider becoming a passive investor? And to me, this is such a smart way of thinking. You see, a lot of people hear that I have a $50,000 or $100,000 minimum investment, and they think in their head, great, if I can just get $50,000, I can invest in a deal with you and get my money working. But here's the reality. I tell investors every day, I don't want your first $50,000, but I will consider your second $50,000. Or not your first $100,000, but I will consider your second $100,000, depending on the deal. Meaning, I want my investors to have a safety net of money for their family. You see, when people invest in deals with us, we have projected returns, but we don't have guaranteed returns. This is an investment, and all investments come with risk. We don't owe you money, but we project to share all the profits with you. This is not a loan or a debt that we owe you. This is a shared investment, and we co-own properties together. So when there's profit, we share it. So if you were to invest all your capital, you saved up and you invested all of it in a deal, and that deal struggles a little bit, or it's a little slower on the timeline, or there's something that comes up and you don't get a return on your money that first year or maybe the second year, I want you to be prepared for that with a nest egg. I want this to be investable capital for you so that you can roll with the punches with this investment. Now, in my business, we do our absolute best to stress test our deals. We go over all the risks that we can foresee ahead of time, and we try to address them and have a plan that can attack them when they come up. Because let's face it, most real estate deals have issues somewhere along the way. It's a matter of how good are you at dealing with them. We've never lost investor capital, but that certainly doesn't mean we haven't gone through our hard times and our challenges. I don't want our investors to be spread too thin and stressing out about their investment on a monthly basis. So back to Kate, I was extremely impressed with her resolve and her ability to look at these investments from a bigger picture, to take a step back and see where does she stand in her finances and where should a passive investment fall in her plan for herself and her family. She knew that an investment was just one step in her path in her long journey for her financial goals. So she probably had no idea how impactful her question was to me, or that I'm still going to remember it years later, but I wanted to share it with you and hope to give you some insight. There are hundreds of great questions that you should be asking as an investor. I try my best to address a lot of them here on social media. You can find other answers on my website at amitycashflow.com. My name's Chris Collins. I help busy professionals like you become passive investors in apartments and not landlords. We'll talk to you more tomorrow.